All right, today we're diving deep into one of the most incredible, most vital, and honestly most mysterious places on our planet, the Amazon rainforest. This place isn't just a giant jungle. It's a world of unbelievable scale, just packed with life, and it holds secrets that are really, really crucial for all of us. So let's just start with a number that's almost impossible to really wrap your head around. 5.5 million square kilometers. Just let that sink in for a second. We're talking about a space so vast, it could basically swallow entire countries whole. This scale, it's the foundation for everything else we're about to talk about.
And yeah, to be perfectly clear, that number makes the Amazon the undisputed heavyweight champion. It is the largest tropical forest on the planet, and honestly, nothing else even comes close.
But its size? That's really just the beginning of the story. The Amazon is what you might call a forest of superlatives, a place that's defined by its incredible stats and, more importantly, its global significance.
You see, this immense forest isn't just in one country. While, yeah, most of it is in Brazil, it actually stretches across 8 other South American nations. But here's the really mind-blowing fact. It's home to roughly 10% of all known species on Earth. Think about that. 1 out of every 10 plants, animals, and insects that we've identified lives right here. But the Amazon is so much more than just a big collection of trees and animals. You have to think of it as a dynamic, living engine, one that literally shapes the climate of an entire continent. And at the very heart of this engine is, of course, the Amazon River. Now, it might not be the longest river in the world, but by water volume, it's the undisputed champion. It's the lifeblood of the whole ecosystem, this colossal artery just pumping water through the forest. And the power of this river is just staggering. It pours so much fresh water into the Atlantic Ocean that it actually changes how salty the ocean is for kilometers off the coast. I mean, can you imagine a river so mighty it can literally alter the ocean itself? But here's where it gets even cooler. The water in the Amazon doesn't just flow on the ground. The forest actually creates its own weather system through this phenomenon called rios voadores, which means flying rivers. And that's not just some poetic name, it is a real, massive climatic process. So how does that work? Well, it all starts with the forest itself, breathing. Billions and billions of trees release this incredible amount of water vapor into the air. All that moisture then gathers up and forms these massive airborne currents. We're talking literal rivers in the sky that travel across the continent, delivering rain to places hundreds of miles away. Now, with all that water and all that energy pumping through the system, it's probably no surprise that the Amazon is home to an incredible explosion of life. So let's zoom in a little bit on the sheer variety of creatures and plants that call this place home. The numbers here are, they're just staggering. We're talking over 40,000 documented species of plants, more than 400 types of mammals, but that's just scratching the surface. There are millions of insect species, and here's the wildest part. So many of them are still completely unknown to science. Every single year, researchers are discovering new forms of life in this incredible biological treasure chest. And of course, one of its most iconic residents is the jaguar. As the apex predator in the Americas, this powerful, elusive cat is a true symbol of the Amazon's untamed heart. And then you have creatures that sound like they came straight out of a myth, like the famous pink river dolphin. It's one of the only dolphin species that lives entirely in freshwater, perfectly adapted to navigate the murky, winding rivers of the Amazon basin. But the Amazon is also a place that's just full of surprises, even paradoxes. Things aren't always what they seem, which brings us to some of its deepest and, honestly, weirdest secrets. So check this out. This is one of the Amazon's greatest paradoxes. On one hand, you have this incredibly lush, vibrant green forest, just an explosion of life. But on the other hand, the very soil it grows in is famously poor in nutrients. It's almost as barren as sand in some places. So how is that even possible? How can the world's most vibrant ecosystem thrive on a foundation that's so, impoverished? Well, the answer is this incredibly elegant, super efficient recycling system. See, the secret is that the forest doesn't really store its nutrients in the soil at all. Instead, all that good stuff is locked up in the plants and trees themselves. When a leaf or a branch falls, it decomposes almost instantly, and those precious nutrients are immediately snatched right back up by the ecosystem in this tight, perfect loop. Of course, the story of the Amazon isn't just about plants and animals.
We have to remember this is also a profoundly human place, home to ancient cultures that have lived and thrived there for thousands of years.
This forest is home to hundreds of distinct indigenous peoples, cultures that have been there for millennia. And incredibly, some groups still live in voluntary isolation with little to no contact with the modern world, their lives just completely woven into the fabric of the forest.
So, all of this, the scale, the rivers, the life, the secrets, it all leads us to the final and most important question. Why does a forest, maybe thousands of miles away from you, matter so much to every single one of us?
The answer is absolutely critical for the future of our planet. The Amazon's vast network of trees acts as a colossal storage container for carbon. It holds billions of tons of it, keeping it locked safely away and out of our atmosphere.
And that makes the Amazon a key regulator of our global climate. To put it bluntly, without this massive carbon sink, the effects of global warming would be far, far more severe. The health of this one forest is directly tied to the health of our entire planet.
And that really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? It's not just an important ecosystem, it is considered absolutely essential for life on Earth as we know it.
So that leaves us with this one critical question. As it faces threats like deforestation, what does the future actually hold for this essential global treasure? The answer to that is going to depend on all of us and the role we choose to play in protecting it. It's a question that really does affect us all.